Good morning, it's me, Galen. Galen's got Parkinson's. This is the thing you're looking at. There. Is a 3D printed science fiction building. And I've stuck on all sorts of random bits out in my bits box. So I've got this tube I found. I'm not even sure what that is. That's a bit from an old computer. I think that's a bit from an old computer. And so all sorts of things I've stuck on have come round here. You'll see, look, they're more bits I've stuck on. Stuck some things here by the door. Might be a little, I don't know, perhaps it's for entering. Perhaps you push buttons to get in. I don't know. So I've just added that little thing there. I think that was like a pulley or something. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. So I'm going to start weathering it in theory, because I don't know if this is going to work. It's one of those, you know, sometimes you get an idea in your head, properly deep in your head, and you think, well, that sounds good. I'm going to enjoy doing that. So that's what I've done. So I've painted the building. Well, I spray painted it a sort of red, a rusty colour, really. Just, I thought that's a good place to start. And I've just put a light on, see if I can get a bit less shadow on it. There you go, that's better. So I painted it with spray painted it with a sort of dull base rust colour. It was one of those grey buildings, probably still is underneath. And now my plan is to paint it as it used to look 50 years ago, before the weather got to it. Before I did that, I put ink on it, black ink, and I let it run down, and where the ink pooled, I assumed was going to be where the worst of the rust was. And so then I put PVA glue there in those dark areas, covered them in sand. And I had to do it a few times to get any depth. Now, my fear is when I do what I'm going to do next, that's all going to come off. But if it does, I'll have to put it back on again. So I just got very crudely painted blue panels down there, red, a bit of metallic, bronzy, brassy stuff down the middle. So now, how can I do this? Oh, I know. Let's try. I'll move that. I'm going to try this top one here. So, in theory, if I pick at that, no, nothing happens. What about that one? No, nothing happens. Somewhere where I know there's glue. So I can see it shining. Ah, there, got some. Right. There we go. So I'll pick it off. Like that. Now, what I'd hoped was that would happen. Oh, it will. Look, it will. Come on. It just needs, where I've painted it, needs a bit more encouragement. There we go. There we are. So where I painted it, over the glue. Now I can peel the glue off. And as I feared, a lot of the sand's coming off as well. But not to worry, you can go back on again. The idea of doing them like this live is to show you the problems. I'm not a big fan of, ooh, that all worked. Here's one I made earlier and it looks perfect. And then you come to do yours and you think, well, thinking out mine don't. So I can see glue everywhere, but I can't get at it. I wonder if I've got, let's try these. Some magical metal thingies. Yeah, see, that don't work as well as I wanted. Still, that, I mean, that in some ways, the fact that it's not worked is it worked. That's part of the plan. I've saved you the trouble of doing all that. I've spent ages doing that, and there's lots of PVA here. But if I pull that off, I'm going to pull all the sand off. So I don't want to do that. My theory was I'd go like that. I did it all beautifully peel off, but it won't. Oh well. You know, as they say, down our way, nil desperandum. But I mean, some of the blues come off. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the Rust and Dust paint. This stuff by Life Colour, and they've got what they call a base, rust base. Over here, I'll show it you. Rust base colour. And I think what I'm going to do, trouble with having Parkinson's, you can't get the lids off things. Anyway, I managed to get the lid off that. And I'm going to, before I start, put water all along here. And again, my theory now is the water will do what water does over all those years it's been out weathering. Then if I get some of this colour and just do that, it should, in theory, just run down the model. I'll do perhaps a bit more of that. And the idea for me is to show you how difficult I find it to paint, to encourage those of you who might not be very dexterous or not very confident or new to the hobby, that there's no right and wrong way of doing these things. Have a crack. Just have a crack at it, see what you think. And then the next thing I will do, is to come back at it, either with, depending on how I feel, I might use the dark shadow there, put that there, or I might use the light shadow. I think I might put the dark shadow on and then start picking things out. What I would say, generally speaking, is look at rust, look at pictures of rust. When I'm out for a walk now, and I'll say to my wife, oh, look at that rust. Or stop for a minute, just look at that fence. And she wants to look at bluebells and beautiful landscapes. No, study rust. It's gorgeous stuff. And I can see enough of the blue through there to tempt me to feel that that might be okay. And that, I mean, I need to work on it. Somebody told me at the War Games Club I go to, that's the best thing about making buildings and vehicles. Paint them really basic, and then have a whale of a time weathering them. Go back and stick things on and touch them up and put oil on. And the final little tip I would give is don't put anything on that's too heavy and dark. Put lots of water on, a bit like if you're painting a watercolour picture. So always keep it wet. Let it do its thing now. The way that dries will not look like it is now. It'll change. So I have to give it time to change. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave you by saying TTFN.